parents, we all love posting pictures of our little ones as they attend their first day of school, but that may not always be a good idea. Living in a digital age where anyone can access your information or that of your family with a click of a button, it's better to be cautious. Consider safety issues before posting those cute pictures on social media where half your followers are most likely strangers. Well, for more insight on this, I'm joined now via Skype by social media law expert Emma Sedley to provide some safety tips as well regarding those back-to-school picture posting. Emma, a very good morning to you, and thank you very much for your time. I mean, it's not like we're trying to, focus on the negative, but the reality is today you can really never be sure who's watching you.
I think that's really the truth. And I think this is such a good time, just a catalyst to think about these issues. And, I think there's a lot of scaremongering that goes around. Don't ever post any pictures of your children. Be very careful of the back-to-school pictures. Your child's going to be kidnapped. I think we have to take a bit of a reality check. But I think that to start thinking about whether or not posting pictures of our children, especially on public platforms, if you don't have any privacy settings, is a very good idea. So I think that the main advice is to just think before you post. Think about whether or not you have privacy settings. Think about whether you're a particularly high-risk person. Maybe you're high profile. Maybe you're going through a very bitter divorce and content can be used against you. Thinking about whether or not posting very public, very permanent pictures of your children is a good idea. So as a rule, I think turn off your location services, because sometimes that inadvertently means we let everybody know where we live, and that's, I think, just a stupid idea in the current very criminal climate that we live in. I think where possible, maybe blur the school badge or maybe don't check into the school. The reality is that content, some baddie out there could see the content, go to your child's school, say, your mother's here told me I must come and collect you. They know where your child goes to school. They know your child's name. So just really thinking about, have I got privacy settings in place? Have I given away too much information? And then very important, Dan, is to not share pictures of other people's children. For me, the rule should be you should never be sharing pictures of other people's children on social media unless you've asked for their permission.
Yeah, and also, today we're all excited. It's day one, and you're taking pictures, you post them, you're even posting the name of the school. Besides the geographic location, you need to be careful about giving away exactly where they might be.
Exactly. And I think that this is just a good reminder for all of us to be thinking about that. We see insurance companies repudiating claims because somebody's checked in at home and then said, I'm going away for the weekend, and then they get robbed. Well, you told all the criminals that you weren't going to be there. So I think it's important from a safety point of view. I also think it's important from a privacy law point of view, because the truth is that the way the South African law is formulated is that the more you look after your child's right to privacy, the more right to privacy they have. Now, what that means is if you never share pictures of them on social media, then their legal right to privacy is higher than the person who uses their child's image for sort of celebrity fodder to try and get as many followers as possible. So I'm thinking of, a famous person who never shares pictures of their children. The tabloid magazines can't then publish pictures of those children, even though they come from a very famous family. If those parents were sharing pictures, the children had their own Instagram accounts, which is something we see from very young sometimes. I'm thinking of Serena Williams' daughter, who's about 2 years old and has her own Instagram account with nearly 1 million followers. She can't turn around to the tabloid press and say, don't publish pictures of my child. What about her right to privacy? Then you kind of go say, what privacy, right? So I think just thinking about how public it is, how permanent it is, and where, Dan, we're seeing a lot of controversy is where parents aren't on the same page. So where one parent wants their child to maybe be all over social media, even, in their profile picture on a dating site, and the other parent wants them to have absolutely no digital footprint. And we're seeing big legal wranglings over this. We're actually seeing it's something that's being put into parenting plans. So, think before you post. Yep. It's what we've been saying for a long time. And any big event like this, which reminds people that sometimes it's not in your child's best interest just to post as adorable as those pictures can be, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, but should you ask your children for permission?
Yeah, I think as soon as they're old enough, I think that's really behavior to be encouraged. So our rule is that as soon as your child has an awareness of what the internet is old enough to say, no, mummy, don't take that picture. I don't want that picture on the internet. Then listen to that, because hopefully that means when they're 18 and they're doing something they shouldn't be, and their friend wants to take a picture of them, which might land up on the internet and compromise their job opportunities, then they'll know, well, I can say no. And I think that it's not a parent's inherent human right to take pictures of your children. I think that it's really a conversation. And we live in this digital world where everything is shared, where we go, who we see, what we do, what we eat, what we wear. It's like CCTV footage of our lives. And I think we're almost reaching saturation point there. And I think we need to start taking a step back and thinking, well, actually, maybe our lives were nicer before we plastered them all over social media. For me, social media is an incredible tool if used correctly. But when things go wrong, they go horribly, horribly wrong. And I'm afraid it's often just not thinking about it before we post. So think about what you're posting and err on the side of caution, because we just don't know what's going to happen to the internet. Something that's private today might not be private tomorrow, and it's still going to be there in 20 years' time.
Yeah, and when you say social media, I mean, it's everything. Many people maybe think I've got a WhatsApp group, I can put a picture there, but also, I mean, that can find itself on other platforms without your knowledge. Thank you very much, Emma Sedlia. Thank you for your time. That's a social media legal expert there.